My name's Greg, this is Jason. I want to talk about our alligators. When I'm finished, I'll open up for any questions you guys might have or anything you want to know. We've got 15 American alligators in here, and they range in size from about 9.5 feet up to about 13 feet, 350 up to 800 pounds. Now 12 of the 15 are about 20 years old, and have lived here at Busch Gardens for about 6 years. They came to us from another zoo. And they're what we call true zoo alligators. They were hatched and raised in a managed environment. And we got 3 big ones in here. There's one of them right there at the end of that log, closest to me. 3 are about 13 feet long and weigh about 700 to 800 pounds. Wow. Now those 3 have lived here at Busch Gardens since the early 70s. We estimate them to be about 60 or 65 years old. Now that's pretty old for alligators. Alligators typically live about 45 years in the wild from all the books we say. But we think they can live a lot longer. The oldest one that we know of on record is 82 years old that lived in another zoo. Now those 3 were brought here, like I said, in the 70s. The main reason they were deemed nuisance alligators. What's a nuisance alligator? Basically an alligator that's fed by people. And when they're hungry, they start searching out other 2-legged creatures looking for food to fly from the sky. And that's a bad thing. It's a bad thing, obviously, for you, your small children, small pets, but it's also a bad thing for alligators. Now, back in the 70s, if you came to Florida, you'd hardly ever find an alligator because they were hunted nearly to extinction. But we started breeding alligators in the 70s, as well as other zoos, alligator farms, and it was regulated by Fish and Wildlife, and the youngsters would be released to the wild when they got to a certain age. It's a very successful program. Alligators were brought back from the brink of extinction. So if you don't get anything from my talk at all, it is a bad thing to feed alligators. Enjoy from a distance, and they'll be around for a long time. They have no problem getting and hunting food on their own. They can find it out there. So, like I said, buyers from a distance will be around for a long time, because if they are due to nuisance these days, because there's so many alligators out there, they will be destroyed. Now, alligators, what do they eat? Think of where they live, like here in Florida. Alligators like things the size of their head and smaller. Basically, fish and turtles, about 80% of their diet. But they'll eat small mammals, wading birds, waterfowl, things like that. But they'll also eat things as small as snails and crayfish, frogs, lizards, snakes. Anything that's at their opportunity. Basically, we call them opportunistic eaters. They are an ambush predator. They'll wait for food to come to them. A couple of ways they do hunt. They'll sit along the water's edge, wait for a small bird or a mammal to come and take a drink of water, lunge at it, grab it, take it back in the water, either drown it, disorient it, crush it, then swallow it. Another way they hunt, they'll sit in the water at the bottom with their mouth open. They have all these nerve bundles around their snout. A fish or turtle swims up to it, they snap automatically, crunch and swallow. Like I was saying, they don't need our help. A lot of food items out there for them to eat. And now they do provide us a lot of services in our environment. They do help keep the turtle and fish population in check. They help clean up any dead animals. Like vultures in the waterway. They won't eat any dead animal that ends up in the water, eat it before it starts decaying and rotting and contaminating the water system. They also provide a symbiotic relationship with a lot of bird species. We think if it wasn't for alligators, a lot of bird species would be extinct or endangered in the wild. I told you they eat small mammals. So if you come here early or later in the year, late spring, early summer, you'll see these trees covered with birds nesting, ibis, egret, herrings, things like that. The birds search out alligator-infested areas on purpose. The alligators act as bodyguards. Like a raccoon and possum that can get up and destroy all the eggs in a bird rookery. That's kind of neat. Now, you see all our alligators in the water right now, because that water is warmer than the outside temperature right now. Later in the year, hopefully as that sun comes up, you'll start seeing them popping up, coming out on land, soaking up that sun. Alligator is what we call an ectothermic animal. The old term we used to use is cold-blooded. Ectothermic means they rely on the outside environment to heat their inner core body temperature up to keep their motor running. They don't need a lot of food. They're unlike us. We're endotherms. We eat a lot of food to replace calories in our body, to keep a furnace burning in our body, to maintain a constant body temperature. They don't do that. They rely on the outside environment. Especially right now. In the winter, this is winter time here in Florida, and alligators don't
come
eat.
back when they're out.
They go into a semi-hibernation called torpor. Their whole system slows down. Their digestive system shuts down completely. Their body temperature is warm enough for certain parts of their body to work to digest food. So they just basically try and stay as warm as possible to keep their motor running. They can go as far north as the Carolinas, where even areas where ponds freeze over. They can live in weather like that. They don't eat as much up in those areas as they would down here. They may even go into a longer time period throughout the winter time. But they can withstand those cold periods that last 3 or 4 days. They might find a 4-ounce bass that they can digest within an 8 or 12-hour period.
When's the next time you're going to feed them?
The next time we're going to feed them is after Easter.
Easter?
It all depends on the weather. When we feed them, our alligators are actually trained. They'll come and line up between this palm tree and this oak tree, right along the water's edge here. What we do, we pull an auditory cue. We use a duck call, and that lets them know it's time to eat. They hear that noise, they come swimming up. If they're on land, they go in the water and just line up. Kind of like what this guy's doing right here. They'll come and line up right down, and they'll go right down the line and drop them right in their mouth.
Oh, wow.
Being in designated areas only. We ask that you refrain from smoking in any unmarked area. Please refer to your park map for designated locations throughout the park. In addition,
Go ahead. Good boy.
Good thing they can't jump. How big?
Mãe, cuidadinho da Kenny, ele perdeu a mão.
Vocês vão pegar meu óculos lá?